Good morning, viewers. Today I am present before you with the topic Wordsworth as a poet. Before I begin the podcast, it is advisable that you keep a notebook and a pen so that you can jot down the important points relating to this particular topic. It is further advisable to use earplugs for better listening. You can use this podcast for creating the introductory part of your answers relating to the questions which are asked on Wordsworth and the poetry written by Wordsworth. So here I begin. William Wordsworth was a prolific writer. His poetic career covers a period of more than 60 years, and so far as the bulk of his poetry is concerned, few poets can challenge comparison with him. He is well known as a writer of philosophical poems, but a careful study of his major poems show that his mind must have owed its inspiration to a considerable variety of sources. His greatness as a poet has universally been recognized. Ransom has called him one of the giants of English poetry. J.C. Smith has called him a mountain, the most massive in that lofty range which is called the Romantic Revival. Wordsworth rebelled against the poetic principles of 18th century. He held that the common life of the poor, simple people can serve as fit material for poetry, and that the diction, that is words and phrases, to be employed in poetry should be drawn from the everyday speech of human beings. This was the formula with which he led the revolt against the artificial and bombastic diction of the 18th century neoclassical poetry. Further, he wanted to throw a coloring of imagination over the simple material chosen for treatment in poetry. As a poet of nature, Wordsworth stands supreme. He is the worshipper of nature, nature's priest. He gave to nature an independent status in poetry. Of all the poets who have written of nature, there is none that compares with him in the truthfulness of his representation. He had a full-fledged philosophy of nature. Wordsworth breathed new life into the lyric form. He had not the force and versatility of P.B. Shelley, but he helped to prepare the way for that superb lyric genius by adopting themes of rural life. Wordsworth brought to his lyrics a freshness and pensive sweetness that give them quite an original place in lyric literature. The structure of a Wordsworthian poem is an organic form growing naturally out of the thought of the poet, related at each stage to the poetic emotion and fusing together the metrical pattern and the whole complex of sounds and meanings. The poetry of Wordsworth is the poetry of happiness. A cheerful temper pervades the whole of it. There is no note of interrogation, no cry of despair, no anguish, and no morbid melancholy. There is perfect contentment in Wordsworth's poetry. So this was the podcast on Wordsworth as a poet. I hope it proves to be of help to each one of you in understanding the poetic writings and the whole idea of Wordsworth as a poet in a better way. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon for latest update. In the description box below, I have also shared the link of my literature blog, which is titled Learning Literature. You can visit that blog and can have some of the related stuff to literature, and you can jot them down for your notes and other preparations for examinations. Here's wishing you a great day. Thank you for your valuable time.